everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fashion Grunge Podcast. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Jai.
Hey. So we're talking The Professional or Leon the Professional. I think it was changed to The Professional for the States,
In the
but
US, yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say, but it's Leon the Professional from 1994, directed by Luc Besson. So also did Fifth Element.
Which you
Also
just did the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say also with Gary Oldman, who's in this and in Fifth Element, which I think is super cool. Yeah, and also Jean Reno and Natalie Portman as Mathilda. So yeah, I'm super stoked to talk about this because a lot of people love it. This is a cult film. There was an editorial on the website. Oh God, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I'll link it actually from Russia. That is
Oh,
inspired by this
cool.
film. It's really cool. Yeah. So I'll link that. I think there have actually been more than one on the website at like throughout the years. So I'll find them and link them in the post for this podcast. But yeah, so it definitely visually inspires a lot of people and it's super cool, very stylistic. So I'm stoked because I've seen this film one time a really long time ago, so I don't remember like the ins and outs. So when I was watching it was kind of like I was watching it again for the first time. So I'm excited. I was just talking to Jai off air that I have like which is really funny, that a lot of my friends seem to like bait me into like talking about all of the actors and actresses I don't really like, because I like, especially one of my other friends is like, I love when you just go off on these tangents and you like hate these certain actors. I think it's so funny. I was like, yeah, it's totally not personal. Like, everything's subjective. Cool, you like them, whatever. I was like, I just like, there's just a lot of actors and actresses I just don't like that a lot of people like. I was like, so okay, I just don't. It's not necessarily that some I think are overrated, like Julia Roberts, and I kind of refuse to watch Julia Roberts films, except for like I've seen Closer, and I watched Ocean's 11 for the first time not too long ago, and I was like kind of pissed that she was in there because she was useless, and I was like, why does she even need to be in? There doesn't even need to be she doesn't even need to be here, but she's Julia Roberts, so people like her.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah, I get that.
I definitely don't want to convert you into liking certain actors that I love, but I just find that it's almost like
Yeah,
I
this
want to
one really
understand it.
puzzles you. Yeah, I was gonna
It's
say
like
this one of everyone really puzzles you.
it does, yeah. It's like, like we talk about people that we tend to disagree on, but when
Hmm.
I really feel like, okay, I don't get why you don't like her, then it's like I kind of feel like I need to argue my points and try to like,
Yeah,
you know.
that's cool.
But I mean, yeah, I respect it. I don't get why you don't like her, but obviously, it's totally fine. Like we're not gonna fall out
Yeah,
over it.
I feel like I'm never talking to you again because you don't like Natalie Portman.
Yeah, I think I just want to understand why, Like I get why Julia Roberts, I get a lot
Yeah.
of the
See, yeah, why do you
acting
get
why.
that one? Why do you get Julia Roberts, but you don't get Natalie
Because
Portman?
I do
Because
think I genuinely think she's overrated. She's just been in so many movies and like, yeah, I guess she does have that, I don't know, like
she has that
people
very
like
like
her.
smiley,
Yeah,
like
people like her.
yeah.
I don't dislike her, but I do think she's an overrated actress. I think that it's not the same caliber as like Natalie Portman. I've seen so many incredible performances by by Natalie Portman that I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean I don't care about her as a person. I don't know whether she's a nice person or not or whatever, but
Mhm.
uh, as an actress, I do really, if I know she's going to be in a movie, I'm definitely going to watch it just because I know she's great. So
Okay. So you connect with her, you just connect with her acting abilities
well,
too. You
I
connect with the
do,
roles that she chooses,
yeah.
the way she portrays them.
I don't care about her silly films like Marvel or like because I don't care about that type of movie anyways, or like the like rom-coms and stuff like that she's been in.
Okay.
Like the not serious films, I don't care. But
Uh-huh.
also I think it's a little bit of like just kind of sentimental value because she's been in this movie that I love, and I think it's more like I have attachment to this movie. Like, uh,
Oh, okay.
you know what I mean? It's almost
Yeah,
like
oh, I get it.
yeah.
I have an attachment. I'm trying to think of a movie I have an attachment to. Like, okay, this is almost in a comparable way. I have a deep attachment to Interview with the Vampire. Like, I watched it when I was really young and used to watch on tape all the time,
yeah,
and was obsessed with Kirsten Dunst. Ended up just watching all the films she was in because we were the same age. She's our birthday, by the way.
I
She's just
know.
a year older. So
Crazy.
like I would watch a lot of her films because like we were the same age, and I was like, oh cool. So with her, I like definitely identify with her as Claudia. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, she would probably have been good in this film too. Like there are a lot of young actors that I still like. Christina Ricci's another one, who was also considered for this, I found out.
Yeah, she was.
And there are a lot of young actors. I think I didn't see this when I was really young. I think I saw Natalie Portman for the first time probably in like, I don't know, probably something in the 90s, but she was like older. She was like probably 20. I don't think she was
Mhm.
a child when I saw her. But yeah, I guess I just like never, yeah, she's just one of those people that I don't think is overrated. I think she's a good actress. I don't think she's like, oh God, like, but I just don't,
Like her
I
vibe.
just yeah, I just don't like her vibe. Yeah. I
That's
just don't like her.
fine.
Yeah, I just don't like her vibe. So I think in that it's unfortunate because I feel the same way about Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh
It
yeah,
really
but
puts
she's
me
not.
off.
She's annoying.
Well, it really puts me off seeing any of their films because like no matter how good their performance is, like I like in this film when I think the first half I was more like I don't know, like kind of like, oh yeah, okay, Natalie Portman, cool. Once I got to the middle, I kind of forgot I was watching her,
Mhm.
which I liked. But in the beginning, I was kind of like the scene where they do charades was like nail scratching. Like
Mm.
I wanted to like pull my hair out. I was like, I really don't like her, and I don't like when kids like try to be cute and are like kind of funny. I just kind of find it annoying, in general. And so I'm just like, but then I was like, okay, no, Lauren, you have to get over it. Cause I was texting you. I was watching it this morning and I was texting you and you're like, I just think you don't like her. So like it's clouding your judgment. I was like, I know, I'm trying to see past it,
Mhm.
And I think I did once I got going in the story. But she also has a great supporting cast too.
Oh
Like
yeah,
thankfully it wasn't like a solo film
yeah,
where I was just watching her because then I don't think it would be anything like, it'd be harder
yeah. Of
to
course.
deal
Yeah, I
with.
mean, Jean
Yeah.
Reno is amazing. I
Yeah, he's
I
great. Gary Oldman's
literally
great.
kind of think of a better actor for that role. Like he really
Mhm.
just made it like his own, you know?
Yeah,
And it's really
totally.
interesting, like how he went into character for this movie. Like he said because of the complexity of the story, he
Mhm.
wanted to play like the character as if he was a little bit slow. So it's kind of
Oh, okay, yeah.
so it's kind of like it's innocent rather than like an older man just like hanging out with a child and you
Mhm.
know
Yeah, 'cause he learned to read, which they make a comment about that, like, the Tony thought he couldn't
yeah.
read, like, the
So
mafia guy, and then he's like, "Oh, no, I can read now."
but anyway, I
And
mean,
it's
I just love the story so much and the
yeah, it's
cinematography.
really
I
cool.
think, especially considering it's not based on a novel or anything like that. He
Mhm.
literally wrote the movie based on, well, pretty much inspired by Le Femme Nikita
Mhm.
in 1990, right? So um, I think he wrote it in like a month. Yeah, in like 30 days, he wrote the script.
God, it's like another David Lynch.
Yeah, I mean,
He's just
he's incredible.
churning out
Yeah,
stories,
but
like,
also the
how?
cinematography had like a massive role, I think, because
Yeah, oh,
it's
yeah,
so
totally.
like different from how American directors shoot, like how they film
Mhm.
things. And I feel like it's such an unexpected, like caring, like relationship. I don't see how like a lot of people do. Like they like find it quite disturbing, and they have issues with it, especially like looking at it with like in like 2021 like lens. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I
I found a weird tone. I don't think there was something disturbing because you mentioned that there's a European cut that has a bit longer.
well
Um,
they included scenes that were cut for the American version.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what those were, but just from the American one, like there was like a weird tone, but I don't think it was like like crazy.
No.
Like, I don't think it was anything
Well,
crazy.
no,
They
but
were
I
just
can
like,
see why a lot of the critics didn't like it at the time. I know people were like disturbed by it, but I can see why. However, I didn't feel, even to this day, I don't feel like that about the film. Um,
yeah, no, it's not like overt. There was just some kind of a weird vibe. But then I also read about this when I was doing research for Fifth Element,
mhm.
and this director kind of has a bit of a weird
He does, yeah.
background, and I think this is somewhat semi, like, he knew someone similar to this, and this is somewhat of like there was an article I was reading that was just saying it's just kind of weird. Natalie Portman spoke out like 3 years ago saying that she was like really sexual. She was kind of like uncomfortable with the way that she was portrayed in the film, like as a young person,
Yeah.
or the way that people are taking it, and she kind of felt like weird about it, which
Well, I mean, she
sucks.
was a child, so you, of course, as an adult, she's probably looking at it differently. She has a different
Yeah, but that
perspective,
sucks
right? And
though.
a better understanding of how maybe like her time filming, or
Yeah,
but
yeah. I think it was after too. I think she felt kind of weird, probably with people who approached her
yeah,
to do roles after that, and she was probably like, "Wait a minute,
yeah.
like that's not what I want
I'm
to
sure that
do."
was obviously challenging, but she also had like a lot of crazy fans, like sending her
Yeah,
inaccurate
yeah, I was gonna
letters,
say.
and
That's
I'm
so
sure that's really
crazy.
hard. Like, this is like your debut movie, and then this is how a lot of people are going to perceive you,
I know,
especially
it's
back
like
then in the
scary.
90s, like all those pervy directors. Not that Le Besson was, but I think also another thing that didn't help the situation and like kind of the whole vibe about the movie was that he did date a model um, when
Mhm.
he was like 29. Well, no, I think officially she was 15 and he was like
Okay.
31 or 32. But it was found that much later that they actually met when he was 29 and she was 12. Her name is Vivian.
What?
Yeah. So I don't know if it's a speculation or if it's actually, or he actually said this, but he did base the story a little bit. It was kind of inspired by his relationship with his model, because it's like,
Oh, okay, that's I think what
but
I
it
was
wasn't
reading.
portrayed that way. I think the way the story was told was really well done. I don't think, I mean, to me, it's more like, yes, she might be in love with Leon, but he,
He didn't return. It wasn't, yeah, it was a
for
very
him, I think it was
it
more
wasn't.
like a fatherly figure.
Yeah, definitely. And for her, but lots when you're young, you like older. Like when you're like 12, 13, like you just like people that are older because you think they're cool and
Yeah,
you like want to learn
and
from them,
also
but it's not like weird, you know
exactly,
what I mean?
and also, like, it's totally innocent. I mean, she thinks she's in love with him, but I don't think she even knows because
What
she's
love
never
is.
been treated well, and it's like a little girl who's literally lost her brother, the only person that she cared about, and then she has someone who's helping her, So it's infatuation more than love, probably.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it's not she doesn't know what love is.
no, and it's
Not at
not like
that age.
she's
She's
not,
never even seen it,
yeah.
even at
And
home.
she genuinely is quite innocent in that way. Like, she's not like I'm sure like she's not like
She's not
no, she's not
promiscuous.
promiscuous. Like
No,
Lolita
she's not
was.
like a prostitute on the
Yeah,
street, and
like
then she's
Lolita
like, "Yeah, it comes."
was, but not Mathilda.
Mhm.
Anyway, we just talked about all that before we
No,
go
that's true.
into.
No, I mean, that's true. It also is really hard now when you look at things like society's just changed so much in the last like 30 years. I mean, it's crazy. This is almost 30 years old. So like it's just crazy. Like things that, I think if I didn't have access to like what I read and what everything else and I think about things a certain way, I probably wouldn't think that way about this. If let's say like, social media was never invented and we were just on some other world, I don't think I wouldn't feel like, oh, there's a weird tone because I wouldn't be looking for it.
No,
You know what I mean? But now I feel like because we're conditioned to like see these minor things that are like that may or may not be like weird, like we're not sure. The fact that we're questioning that is now plays into when we see films from the past, which is why now you see a lot of people like on, you know, different websites, and they're like, I watched Cruel Intentions and like this is really fucked up, you know, like they hear the 10 things that are weird about Cruel Intentions, and it's like, yeah, I know it was weird when I saw it in 99 that like a stepbrother and like a stepsister were like being physical with each other. That was never okay. But I guess now, like everyone's looking at it now, and they're like, "Holy shit, this is so weird." I'm like, "Well, Game of Thrones is doing that
I
shit
know.
too, and
Well,
that just came out. Like that didn't come out like, you know, 20 years ago. That just came out now. So what's acceptable
but
in
also
people's eyes?
slightly
Yeah, and what's
different
not?
with Game of Thrones because that was how it was back in the day. It was totally acceptable in a way, especially in
Yeah,
Europe. To
I've never seen Game of Thrones, but yes, isn't it's old, right? It's like
old, like
Middle Ages,
yeah, I mean,
Middle Ages.
Scotland had
Yeah,
a huge history of that. You know, like you will end up marrying a family member,
yeah, someone
and
that you
I
related
think
to.
it's yeah. I mean, also for you and I, it's slightly different because we're older and we've seen how things change. When we were growing up, there were a lot of things that were allowed almost
Oh
or
yeah,
acceptable. I can imagine for like a 20-year-old now watching this movie, they will find it problematic and
yeah, exactly.
not sure they will have any positive feelings about it. It depends on the country as well. Because I do think
Yeah, that's
in
true.
Europe,
Yeah.
people are more, there's more tolerance for, it's not that there's more tolerance, but
I think because you guys haven't been censored at such
yes,
a young
we haven't.
age,
But
that it's just been exposed earlier
yeah,
and more
and
normalized, but here we're
exactly.
very like it's very censored when you
And
grow up.
also, I do think there are more allowances for art. It's kind of like the rules don't apply when it comes to like an artistic film or like art
Oh
in
yeah,
general.
we're not like that.
Exactly.
Only now, I think because of more independent, you know, films like coming out in different studios. But I think before, like what in the 70s when it was like big budgets, you know, they just wouldn't approve it. You know, they would be like, "No, we're not giving you the money to make that."
Yeah.
But now it's like there's way more ways to do whatever you want, you know. So now we're seeing it. And now you see younger kids accepting a lot crazier things than I had. Like I didn't have a show like Euphoria
Yeah.
when I was like 15. But now if that shit was on TV, I'd be like, "Whoa." So now you're younger and you're exposed to all that stuff, you know? So
Exactly. It's also interesting that, to be honest, like this movie is so like, well, yeah, it wouldn't be made today, but also it's so French in that sense that only a French director would write a movie like this. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Because
totally. It
it's
doesn't feel American for
no,
sure.
it's just so like the French just you know they just
Yeah, they
think
have a vibe.
yeah,
Yeah, they totally have a vibe, and you can totally see it,
yeah.
which is super cool. Do you have any more first thoughts, or you want to get into behind the
No,
scenes?
let's get into behind the scenes.
Sweet. Okay, my first note is the budget was 16 million, and it made 45 million
So
worldwide. So,
good.
bam,
Yeah,
that's super good.
it's great.
We already mentioned it was inspired by film Lakita. Natalie Portman was turned down at first, but she beat out 2,000 other girls for it.
That's
Liv,
insane.
that's insane, right? And now it says Liv Tyler, which I saw, and Christina Ricci were
Yeah, they're
considered.
good.
I didn't even think Liv Tyler was acting that young because her first role was in that Aerosmith video, and she was like 17.
Yeah, but I guess
Um,
she wanted to get into film like
yeah, I
much
didn't know she was.
earlier, but we didn't know about it.
Yeah, I didn't know about it because I was like, "Whoa, she was older," and the other thing. And then, yeah, I have a like one or two, but what else? What do you have?
Yeah, so the film was definitely well, the role of Léon was intended for Jean Reno, but
Mhm.
um, Mel Gibson and Keanu Reeves were extremely interested in the role, of course, because they were
Oh, in that role, not just like
no,
Gary
that
Oldman.
role, yeah, and
Oh.
Robert De Niro was considered for the role too.
Oh, of Leon?
Mhm.
Wow, that would have
Well,
been
I can see
weird.
why he would be considered, but I also, I do believe that Luke had envisioned the role for Jean Reno, you know?
Yeah, because he's in Femme Nikita at the end,
Yeah,
like Victor,
he's
right? So he
Victor,
wanted
he's
to
the
turn
crewman,
that
yeah,
into a story. So, yeah, it was like it's weird that they were like even like I guess maybe yeah, they probably heard about it, but maybe they didn't know like no, it's written for this other actor. Like, you know, you guys it's a character he's already been.
exactly.
But essentially we're changing the
To
name
just sort of
and
develop that
yeah.
story. I think that is really
Mhm.
interesting because it's he just actually didn't. He kind of like was working on The Fifth Element, but then
Oh, yeah,
because
I
that
heard
was
that
taking
script,
so
yeah.
long due to Bruce Willis' schedule, he just didn't want to lose the like creative momentum. So he
Oh.
was like he had already a production team, and so he just wrote like Léon, and it was kind of like a filler almost,
Oh,
you
wow.
know.
That's pretty
But it's
cool.
crazy because it is. I mean, Fifth Element is amazing, but I do think that this film is considered like superior almost, and like
The Fifth Element?
yeah, I think
I think so.
yeah,
I would say so, but I guess it depends on
that
your
always happens, doesn't it? It's almost like those projects
the one you
don't
don't
get
care
much of,
about.
and then they end up being like incredibly successful, and even like made a lot. To be honest, I'm sure it was like a shock for everyone.
I was just gonna ask you, but then I looked it up. Like, what are some other films? Can you think of other films that have the older man, like younger woman dynamic?
Well, yeah,
But I
Lolita.
didn't. Well, no, I didn't mean romantic. I meant like mentor
Oh man,
dynamic, as in like Karate Kid, but like with a woman. You know what I mean? Like I know there is a Karate Kid sequel. I think where there's a girl student,
yeah,
and I
that's
think Miyagi is doing that.
Hilary
But
Swank.
that kind of vibe,
That's
right?
Hilary
So I was
Swank. Yeah,
the Million Dollar Baby, right? Yeah, because he's older and she's obviously like a student
yeah.
mentor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There are loads of
Okay.
movies, but I don't think we've seen many where she's like 12 or 13.
No, I was gonna say that isn't like Lolita and sketchy.
Yeah,
That is sketchy. Like
I
that on
know.
hand is a sketchy film, even now, and it was then. So like that like is kind of weird. And yeah, it's always like when it's that way, it's always I feel like it's so weird that in America we're always showing it the weird sexual
I
way and
know.
not the mental way.
I
Like I'm
know.
looking at a list now on IMDb that someone put together. It's like American Beauty. That was also
Oh,
sketchy.
but that was pervy. Like it was.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. It's always sketchy. Or the one about there's a teacher who sleeps with a student. Again, it's always sketchy. It's never like a mentor
Honestly, I
thing.
know like a lot of people are not gonna like me for saying this, but I do think Americans are more perverse than like European.
It seems because we
Because
restrict
I know.
everything.
Whereas like,
That's
Europeans
why.
are more open about it. It's almost like they just like, yeah, I that you kind of embrace it. It's just like the French are so free with love. They just like, it's love. It's just different.
Yeah, I know. It's a totally different. Yeah. I mean, it's literally night and day, but then it just comes from like, the founding of the country and the way they like very puritanical
Mhm.
and it just kind of dripped down like, hundreds of years are still those people, the people that are like very conservative and they rule a lot of different things that decide movies and ratings and, like it's yeah it's a struggle but that then of course like now that we're going through this kind of like I don't even know adjustment period. I don't even know what the fuck you're going to call it in America. It's just like a weird time that like now that we're going through this you can see that this is truly like a half and half country and it's very like 51-49 some like that's very much what it is and it's like it's hard. Like when you think of a country like England, for instance, and they're one country and they have obviously they're like almost 50-50 now,
Yeah,
isn't it? Right? When they had the last election, it was close.
it
It's
was
never like a
literally that. It was
landslide.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like as the countries grow and you have influences from other people, more people from other countries move, it becomes more integrated. It's like it's now it's even harder. And you've got like what 350 million people? Like that's a fuck ton of people that are like seeing films, deciding what you're gonna do, what's acceptable, what's not. It's crazy. And then back then it was regulated, like highly regulated. So it is weird. Yeah, it's weird and it's how but then there are also places like in some southern states like ages of consent are like
I know.
14 and 15.
Well,
So
the
like
US is like
it varies so much
exactly.
within yeah, it's
I think for the US, it's
weird.
because it's such a huge country, you end up having like complete different culture, like in different parts. Like,
And each
so
state has a different
exactly,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, like that's what the fighting was about was like each state has their own right to do whatever they want to do. So even state to state, it's totally different. It's like it's crazy.
yeah. Do you have any
It's really
more behind the scenes?
Yeah, I do. They used mint oil to get Natalie Portman to cry the first time. And she said it was so bad because it was so painful that after that, she just thought about it and learned how to cry on cue.
Yeah.
So she learned how to do that, like going forward, probably just thought of like the thought of mint oil in your eye is probably so painful that she just probably thinks about it now, even to this day, to get herself to cry, which I thought was really interesting.
I know that's
Um,
cool.
Isn't that crazy? Gary Oldman improvised much of his lines, including the Beethoven speech, where he's like comparing like
That
classical
was so great.
music.
And of
So
course,
good.
it had
That's
to
one
be
of my favorites.
improvised, you know?
Yeah. And also, I talked about in 2018, she was like felt weird about how her character was portrayed, all these years later. But also, the original ending was darker.
It was.
She was supposed to have like the grenade on her after what's his name, Nat shot Leon. Like she was gonna have it, and I think he was gonna pull it, and like she'd have him on
I'm
her.
glad it didn't end like that.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah, that would have been a bit
Because I
much. I feel
actually
like
really love the ending.
yeah, I was gonna say I really like the ending, so I would have been kind of like, "Ooh," if that happened. Like, I would have been a just because she's so young too.
Yeah,
That probably wouldn't have made it to a censor in the
for
US.
sure.
I could definitely tell you, like,
It
that
probably
is one
have
thing
not
they would
been
be like,
released
"No."
until much later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think that would have happened,
I'm
but
praying not
yeah, that's
why.
all I have.
So I have a few more. So
Oh, yeah, what else do you
the
have?
most of the interiors were filmed in France, but the exteriors were in New York. And you
Oh,
can
yeah, of
clearly
course.
see it because the buildings are like that. You don't have buildings like that all
Yeah, I was gonna say
in
those
New York. I
stairwells, I was
know.
like,
That's
"Is
so
this a
typical of
building or they"
France, like Paris, that they're like
So
you
nice.
have no lifts and you have just like staircases that way, like
Yeah,
they're
it's
so
cool.
narrow. And yeah, some of the scenes were shot in like the Chelsea Hotel in New York, which is really cool.
Oh, rad. Also, speaking of Chelsea Hotel, we should totally do Sid and Nancy
We have to. We have
With
I
Gary
think that
Oldman, yeah.
we should do that next.
We should. There was something else that I
Yeah.
wanted to do that I thought about too that I was like, "Oh, we have to do this." I think it was an I also wrote for my I forgot to mention that oh no, maybe that was just in my regular notes. I just wrote I love 90s Gary Oldman. Like I love that his like obviously this one, Fifth Element and like True Romance. Like I love and Sid and Nancy. Like I love all of his early things. His like weird
Yeah,
early
I can't
roles.
really think of
Did you see True Romance?
yeah, I have.
That's like my favorite.
Yeah, I'm not like I don't get it, honestly. I
Oh, also a hot take. Well, this will maybe come out before. So yeah, hot take. The next one I'm doing with the two guys is Drop Dead Fred. We are fucking so excited
I don't know
because
that one.
you don't know Drop Dead Fred?
No.
Wow, I'm surprised because the guy who's it's like a really crazy comedy fantasy movie from the early 90s with Phoebe Cates and Rick Mayall. It's really weird because Rick Mayall is a really famous English comedian,
Yeah,
like really
no,
famous,
I
right?
don't.
Yeah, oh wow. I hope people like it cuz yeah, that's the next one what I'm doing with the guys. So, I'm super stoked. And then do you want to do Sid and Nancy
Yeah,
next?
let's do that one.
Okay. I have to make notes because we always mention things
I
like
know, yeah, make
during the
notes
show.
to forget and then yeah.
So yeah, so I'm gonna make a note,
And
people. We're
also,
deciding on air
you've only seen the American cut, right?
of
Yeah.
this. Yes.
So it's funny
Where
because I
can I
actually
get the
watched the
European?
European cut first, and that's the only one I watched for a really long time.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I can track it
So
down.
it's not different, but it has some scenes that weren't included in this version. And there's
Okay.
one where do you know where when Léon gives her a dress?
Yeah.
So she actually wears a dress.
Yeah, the pink one, right?
I think it's pink or gold, I can't remember.
Okay.
But she actually ends up wearing the dress and it's a really awkward scene. It's not
Oh.
like yeah, it's not as bad as people describe it. I've read like some of the critics that
Oh.
really didn't like that, but it is definitely like the most awkward scene probably.
Okay.
And there are a couple of other scenes that weren't added. Like one was actually taken out when he walks in when she's had like taking a shower. I think that was taken out.
Oh.
So yeah,
Oh, okay.
there is the extended cut, and then there is a European. So it's different. It's two different ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna see if I can find the other one. I'm curious to see like the story is. I think I saw like 25 minutes or something is added
Yeah,
to it.
I think
Yeah, that's a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a
But
lot
yeah,
of
that's it
time.
for behind the scenes.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, let's move on to both of our favorite topics, the fashion. Shout out to the costume designer. I don't know how to pronounce her name because it's Italian. Is it
And I
Magali?
know I want to say Magali, yeah, but
Magali Guidashi? Guidashi?
I
I'm
think
not sure.
I think it would be with that she, but I don't know. Yeah, who knows?
Oh yeah,
Maybe
yeah, I'm not
that's
sure.
fine. Not
Amazing job on this, by the
yeah.
way. Of course, we have the iconic glasses, which I love that that's like in the beginning, and you kind of see as the
Oh
reflection
yeah,
through the glasses. I love
I love
that. It's
that
really cool.
scene. And then what about the super iconic black bob? Like her hair is
I know. I was gonna say her hair is really
like,
cool.
how do you
I wish I could have hair like that.
how did you decide the styling for like a 12-year-old in a story like this? Because yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of 20s a little bit. It's like a twist because that little like knitted hat that she wears and her hair is very
Uh-huh.
20s. Like,
Those are really big in the '90s here. Those crochet hats.
were they? I
Yeah. Oh
don't
yeah.
remember
Uh-huh.
those. Don't
Yeah,
remember.
they were super big. What's her name in Clueless? Dee. She
Oh,
wears a white
oh yeah,
one.
that's right.
Yeah, they were really big. Yeah, in the '90s, and this was '94, so it's around the same
Yeah,
time as Clueless when
yeah.
they
I
filmed.
love her velvet choker. It's so cool.
Yeah, that was another
I'm
one,
sure you
so
have
cool.
that too, right?
Honestly, I totally do,
Yeah.
yeah, I did, and honestly, I think Dee in Clueless is wearing a velvet choker, black one, and that crochet hat in her outfit
Hmm.
in Clueless. I feel like you can see it, which is so funny. But yeah, it was like a very popular thing. I also love her comic tights.
Oh yeah.
Her tights like a comic
Yeah,
strip. I
that's
think
really
that's so
cool.
cool.
Yeah, I mean it's really amazing. I feel like obviously she has the more changes, right? Because Leon
Yeah,
does
it's
it.
a different
But even
outfit.
Leon's like styling is so great because it's so
I love
simple
that
and
coat.
minimal. Yeah, it's like this oversized great coat that's really long and like he always wears that hat and he's like really round, sort of like John Lennon, like sunglasses, They were
Yeah, yeah,
really
they're
big in
super
the
cool.
60s, but it's I love that it's not over the top. It's all very believable. He wears a lot of like white t-shirts with like braces and
Yeah.
it's
And black, like very like monochromatic,
yeah.
like black and white,
Just
which is super
honestly he
cool.
looks like a hipster in East London. Like
He looks so cool. I was like, I am attracted to him in
I
this.
know
Love it.
there's something
Fucking
about
great.
him in this film like
Super cool.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else. Hold on, let me look and see what else he's in. I've seen him in Mission Impossible, but that's not it. It's something else that I've seen that he's in. He's in Mission Impossible after
Yeah,
this.
he's
There's
been in loads.
yeah, there's something before. Oh, he was born in Morocco. Let's see. What else was it? I mean, this is probably one of the biggest things he's known for.
Well, it's because he's done so many French films too that
French
probably
films, right?
make
I'm
it.
trying to think
Yeah.
it was this, do you think this was the first time that he was like an American debut?
Yeah, this was his first.
It
No, it
was.
was, yeah, I know that for sure.
Oh wow. Oh, okay,
And
cool. All
he
right.
was like really nervous. I watched like a really old interview like one time, like it's really old, and I'm pretty sure he said this was his first American role, but he was really nervous because he didn't speak English well.
What? Oh wow,
Yeah,
he did great. He did so good. Like I can't even imagine like acting in another language. It's even
yeah.
doubly hard.
Now he's been in
Triply
loads.
hard.
I mean, I've seen a lot of his French films, but he also was in Running. Remember that one? Is it Running with Robert De Niro? I think Robert De Niro is in it.
Oh, Ronan, I don't think I've seen
Oh,
that.
it's really good. And
Yeah, I don't
he's
think I've seen that.
also in, I mean, some of the ones that I think you might have seen. He's in Hotel Rwanda.
Yes, yeah,
You've
yeah.
seen
I've
that
seen a
one,
bit of
right?
that, but that was after. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking before, but no, I guess I have seen him
And he's
older than
been in the Da Vinci Code. Did you watch that one?
no, I haven't
Oh,
seen the Da Vinci
I've seen
Code.
that. Yeah, he's in like a lot. But I've seen some of his like French films.
Yeah, that's cool. That's super cool. There was something else that I was gonna think of with I think it was with Gary Oldman. 'Cause Gary Oldman's so badass.
Yeah.
He's
Oh
just
God, he's a great actor.
yeah, he just does everything. I can't believe that he's in Batman. Like he literally plays bad guy, he plays cop, like he plays like all, and then he does the biopic, like when he did what, Churchill?
Oh yeah,
Like
that's right.
he's turning into like Christian Bale, like looking completely crazy. Then he was Dracula, like
Oh, he was in that movie. I can't remember the title, but it's about Beethoven. He,
is he?
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I haven't
It's
seen
really
that.
old. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, he's in like everything. It's really nuts. And he does like all these crazy accents too. I love his
His
accent in
accents
True.
are really good.
Yeah, he's like so good. I was
He
like, oh my
plays such
god.
a psychotic role in this one. Like,
I know. He's like pill popping.
he's so
He's like
disturbing.
so nutty. Oh, also, okay, another outfit. I love that green jacket, that green
The
bomber
bomber
jacket
is
that
old.
she has.
Yeah.
So
She's
cool.
wearing, I don't think they're Doc Martens, but they look like Doc Martens.
They're just like a boot, like a leather boot with like a buckle. Yeah, they're not Doc Martens, which I think is cool that they're not Doc
Hmm.
Martens. They easily could be in 94, but like theoretically, I guess she wouldn't have those.
Yeah. I mean, think of like how influential this movie was in terms of styling. Because
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other movie. When did we see the Bob, the famous black Bob, in a film? Where have we seen it? We've seen it in like films that came out after, and or maybe like
Pulp
blonde
Fiction,
hair. Pulp
but it
Fiction
wasn't as short though.
came out. No, it wasn't a short.
93,
Yeah.
the year before this.
Hmm.
But it was, yeah, it wasn't that short though. It wasn't like cheek level. I think Uma Thurman's was like more shoulder length, right? Or like
Yeah, it
just
was longer.
below her
And
shoulder.
then
Yeah, it was
Paris,
longer.
Texas had like it was a blonde bob, but it
A
wasn't
blonde, yeah,
the
yeah,
same
yeah.
as this one. This was just like really sort of geometrical, like really sharp and like cool.
And girls had that haircut in that time. Like girls I went to school with
I
had that
don't
haircut.
remember meeting anyone that had that haircut.
Oh yeah, some girls, like I had, like maybe had some classmates, like maybe two girls in my class of like 20 would have that haircut.
Hmm.
When in the 90s, in like the mid 90s, when I was in like 5th grade, because the boys were starting to get those mushroom cuts by the time I was like 11, 12.
Yeah.
And then the girls had like slightly longer ones. I remember these two girls specifically that had like slightly longer ones, and one was like a kind of a strawberry blonde. She had like it was like a bob. It was like she cut it short, and it was like wasn't quite that high, but it was short, and it was kind of weird that she was young and had such short hair, because usually like young girls just have long hair. Like they
Yeah.
just use
Well,
their
you
hair.
know what? Actually, yeah, there's a character in Twin Peaks that has a bob, but it's not like this. I feel like
Is a little bit longer.
N no, it's just a little bit like or more like 50s rather than 20s.
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean?
Yeah,
Like a
this
bit
one
of
is
a
very
wave.
Chicago. Like
Yeah.
this one is very like Catherine Zeta-Jones in Chicago. Doesn't
Oh,
she have
yeah,
that?
exactly, yeah.
That vibe like that? Yeah, like
Totally
20s.
20s, yeah. And also,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, she's 12, but she's so beautiful, and I genuinely do think Natalie Portman is really pretty, and she just looked great. She did, like
She looks super cool,
yeah,
yeah.
she looks really cool. She has, like, so much attitude, and, like, she's really mature and confident, for a 12-year-old.
Yeah, totally. Well, I mean, look at her family life.
I
Like,
know.
her fucking family's a literal nightmare, like, definition of a nightmare.
Mhm.
It's, like, so bad. Her dad's, like, holding shit for, like, mobsters and dirty cops and, like,
Mhm.
it's just, like, one thing after another. It's crazy.
Yep.
So crazy. I also really love the hardware that you see when Leon takes his coat off when he first gets home, and it's like this, it's like more than a gun strap.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's like a vest that's leather, and I love how it's stitched at the bottom. Like
It's really
I just
cool.
I love it. Yeah, it's so cool. Like how all of that stuff fits under that jacket, and the jacket doesn't look bulky. Like it doesn't look like he has like a bulletproof vest on. It doesn't sit out. It's really, really cool looking. I really like that coat. I think it's
I
cool.
know, I love that coat.
Yeah, do you have any more fashion notes?
Not really, just I mean, I just love everything about it, like not just the characters, but those characters, but um even like it's all very like believable, but like minimal and cool, you know?
Yeah, definitely. It's like not over the top, but it definitely has like a theme
Yeah,
and a style, which is really cool,
like
especially when they're walking around.
yeah, you know what's really funny actually? Her mom's outfit. She does look. I mean, it's very like she looks like a hooker.
She looks like Laura Dern in Wild at
Exactly,
Heart.
but she also does look like a Versace model. Like, that's very
Yeah.
Versace, that whole aesthetic.
Yeah, the, like, black,
With the big
shiny
gold belt and the
Uh-huh.
mini.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
And the sister or the half sister doing the workout with, like, the, like, totally 80s looking, like, workout
oh,
gear,
yeah.
like, on
I
the
don't know how
TV,
they
that was
worked out
funny.
wearing that. It must be so uncomfortable.
I know, yeah, I don't know either. In the '80s and '90s, that was, like, such a thing. I was that an American thing, or did they dress like that in England too?
I don't know, but
Or Mexico or
I
anywhere,
think I know
like,
in
at that
Mexico for
time?
sure, I remember that, but I don't know in the UK, but it's so weird.
Yeah, it's so
People
weird.
actually wore that to work out. Weird.
Yeah, like a thong over biker shorts, like a thong bodysuit over biker shorts with, like, leggings and those white socks, and then, like, those shoes, like, those, like, Reeboks, like, it's just, like, would make your ass look so bad, like, I don't know how you could, like, go to, like, a jazzercise class and, like, that's what everyone's wearing, like, it's just crazy, but who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows? So, okay, music. You have any more fashion notes?
that's it.
Okay, cool. So music, I think I know what you're gonna say.
What?
That Bjork in it is fucking
I mean,
awesome.
literally, it doesn't have the movie doesn't have a lot of songs. They use the same like a few times,
Mhm.
but how sick is that they use
So
Leo?
sick.
It's such a great song, that one. I
Yeah.
mean,
So good.
then
Venus is a
I just
boy.
think that it was a bit random, like how they use like
Yeah,
Leo
it
at
was. I was
the
like,
end.
"What?
And then there's another song that's really um
Is it the Police at the end?" It sounded like
no, that was
Sting, but I
Sting. Yeah, that was
Oh,
Sting.
okay.
But there's another song that was really big in the 90s, and it's kind of like a love song. Can't remember what it's called. But yeah, it's just I think
It's in the movie?
yeah, it's in the movie. Yeah, it has lyrics
Okay.
and everything. I can't remember the title, but um
Shape of My Heart? Oh, no,
no,
that's the
that's
Sting song.
Sting.
Okay, let's see. What other
I didn't
music?
even
Shape
check that actually, but I just remember it, but now I've forgotten, of course. Um,
Not Singing in the Rain, that's no,
it
still
has
Singing in the
lyrics and it's like a love story.
The
I
Experience of Love?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Eric Serra.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was so big. It was played everywhere, I remember. But it's just
Oh,
random.
okay.
It's a little funny, isn't it, how they went from Bjork to that, and he
I
actually
know,
had
yeah, it is so weird.
he had different music, but he changed his mind at the last second for and added the singing song.
Oh, wow.
But I think he works a lot with the same, composer, and
Andre Previn? Is it Andre Previn? No.
no,
Who did
something Sierra. It's a I think Sierra.
Oh, where did I see?
And
Just
the cinematographer. They worked a lot together. So many
Oh,
they have a lot of
cool.
films that they made together. Can't remember her name. I should have made
Um,
notes here.
I know, I was like, I'm
And it's
looking
really
at
bad. I remember, I was like, "No need to write it down," but now I've forgotten, of course.
Oh, man, I'm trying to find all of the credits. Where the fuck Oh, here we go, cast and crew. Um, let's see. The cinematographer is Thierry Arbogast.
Yeah, he's great.
And who was the other person you were asking about?
The composer.
Oh, composer. Music by it says Eric Serra.
Yeah, that's it, sorry, I guess I
Oh, so okay, so the same guy who does the song, he works with him a lot.
yeah, they work
Oh,
together
cool.
a lot, and the sort of music for the end was a song by him, but then Luc Besson changed his mind and added
Oh.
the song by Sting.
Oh, wow. Well, maybe that's to get, like, a single or maybe the
Probably it would
soundtrack.
help. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course it helps having like a famous song, you know?
Yeah, especially back then, like, people bought soundtracks. Like, that was, like, a selling point of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, a big one, which is crazy. Cool, yeah, we only really had those 2 songs, and then I like the instrumentals
Yeah,
too.
I love
I
those.
wrote yeah, I like those
Yeah, they were
instrumentals too.
really great.
Cool. Cool, so, alright, what are your favorite scenes and lines?
There are so many. I'm not sure how we're gonna do this because I love so many. Hmm.
What's your first one? We'll go 1 and 1, or do you have, like, a ton? Do you wanna just read
I
off
have
all
them
of
all
yours?
mixed because
Okay, you wanna read off all yours, and then I'll just read off all mine?
no, let's do one each.
1 and 1 each?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
you go first.
Okay, my first scene that I really love is when he goes to the cinema to watch Gene Kelly's It's Always Fair Weather. I think that's really cool. It's
Yeah,
interesting
that is
that
cool.
he likes this very like 50s musical type film. It's just so opposite of what you would think of him.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's like a hitman, but deep down,
Yeah, he's like a hard ass,
of
but he's a
course,
softie.
the softy, yeah. I loved when she asked him to teach her to be a cleaner, and he said
Mhm.
no, and she grabs the gun and shoots out, like she grabs
I
the gun shooting
know,
out the
just
window.
jumps out the
And the
window.
next scene, she's just such badass there. And then the next scene is them walking on the street with a plant and
Yeah, moving.
back moving basically, because I just love that. It's such an iconic scene as well.
Yeah, it is really cool. I like that. And after that, I wrote the next one I like is the Bjork montage where she's like cleaning and training
Oh,
at the same time, like actually cleaning and
it's really
actually
funny.
training.
It's really funny.
Yeah, I also like when she uses a paintball.
Oh
Like at first
yeah,
you think, oh shit, she's gonna kill this random guy because he's teaching her how to like be a marksman, and then it's like, and then it a little like the red paint, and then she's like, can we
yeah.
use real
It's
blood?
great. I love
Can
that
we use real
because
ones?
she had to pick that guy that had a lot of security.
Yeah,
You know?
that like Secret Service, and they're all like, no, and they jump on him, and like security and stuff was really funny.
Yeah. I loved when she says to him, "I'm kind of falling in love with you," and then
Hmm.
she's like drinking milk, and of course he's always drinking milk. That's another cool thing about the movie, you know?
It's so
Yeah.
weird.
And then she says, he's like, "How do you know? How can you possibly know?" And she's like, "Because I feel like a knot in my stomach, and now it's no longer there." And then she's like, "Well, I'm glad you don't have a stomach ache anymore." Like it's just funny, you know?
It was really
And she's
funny.
so serious. She's just like, I think I'm kind of falling in love with you.
I feel like when I was like 12, that would probably be me.
Yeah.
I'd probably be exactly the same way. Like, you're so cool. Like, you don't know that you're not like in love, but you just think, wow, I just want to be you. You're so cool.
Hmm.
Like, I just
Exactly.
want to be around you all the time because
So
you're like, I
cool. I mean,
learn so much from you and
she's
stuff.
amazing, you know?
And he's so like low key.
Yeah.
Like I love how like assassins or like hitmen are just like so low key. Like he's just kind of like yeah. I like and another one I forgot to mention. My favorite is when you like first kind of see him at work in the very beginning when he gets that
Oh,
guy.
yeah, that's
And you
amazing.
yeah, like how he slips
Oh,
in and out of this fucking apartment and he's like everywhere but nowhere. Like it's so cool that you see how
so
he works.
cool.
And I also love when he tells her about like the further away when you start out, like you want to be further away from your target, and then you as you train and get better, you get closer and closer, and like the knife is the last resort because you're like right up on them.
Yeah.
So you like really have to know what you're doing if that's what you're gonna go for, or you're that in that close of situation. And then he had the guy with the knife in the beginning, and it
Yeah.
was like
That whole
right.
sequence is so it's so 90s
Mhm.
as well because do you remember
It is, yeah,
movies, but I can't remember his first name. I think it was Steven Seagal.
yeah, like an action
Yeah,
star,
you know those movies that where like his whole family is murdered and he then trains.
like Avengers them.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
so 90s that
yeah.
I just really love like the cinematography really helped that to not make it cheesy or like
Oh,
crappy, you know?
totally. Yeah.
Um,
It's also really interesting that the next film that Natalie Portman did is Heat, which is like an incredible
oh yeah,
film
I love that
with
film.
with De Niro, Pacino, and like
So
Val Kilmer.
good. Yeah.
So that's really interesting that she went from like one kind of actiony film to like another, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, my other favorite scene is when it's right at the end. When,
Hmm.
like you're not going to lose. No, he's like, "You're not going to lose me. You've given me a taste for life. I want to be
I
happy, sleep
know.
in a bed, have roots." Like all of that, it's so I think I cry. I definitely cry several times.
Yeah, he wants a family.
He's just like, "Yeah, you'll never be alone again, Mathilda, please go. Like, I'll meet you at Tony's." That whole thing, how like that
Mhm.
exchange and how she's just so sad. Oh,
She knows. Yeah, she knows. Like she's
no.
yeah, just like
Gosh. I mean, I didn't cry last night when I watched it, but I cry when I've seen it in like different times, you know?
yeah. I definitely teared up a bit at the end when she just is planting the tree, and then she's like, "We'll be
Yeah.
we'll be safe here, Leon, or like, this is a good place to plant roots.
Oh, so
I was like,
sad.
oh, I was like, oh, but I was like, I would like a follow up, and I would not hate Natalie Portman if this was a possibility. I would like a follow up where that's like a female John Wick, and she's like fucking doing shit,
Well,
like
there
she's
was,
grown up
they had
into
plans
school, and
to have a
like
sequel. They had
she could still
that.
do it. She's still
Well,
an awesome age to do that
they
shit. She could
could,
like,
but what happened is like there was some kind of um mess with the film company. Like,
oh, do they own the
yeah.
characters or
So
something?
basically, I think I'm not sure if they went bankrupt or whatever, but basically the company that owned the rights was like they couldn't really make it anymore, and so
Oh,
then the director used the idea for Colombiana. Have you seen that?
no.
You should watch it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
I don't even think I've
it's
heard of
kind of
it.
like, but it would have been so much cooler if they had actually gone ahead and like used Natalie Portman, in the sequel, like she's now gonna like
Yeah, take over the torch.
exactly.
That'd be awesome. That's what I would like that.
That
I would
would
like
be
that even
really cool.
now if they could figure it out. She's our age. She's
I know, no,
grown. Like, she
she,
could
yeah,
fucking do that.
exactly.
Um,
Okay, do you have favorite
cool.
lines?
Oh no, I have another scene.
Oh,
Actually, I have
okay,
two more
sorry.
scenes.
Okay.
My other favorite scene is the exchange between Mathilda and Nat in that bathroom. When
Oh
she's
yeah.
bringing that Italian food
Oh
and he like
yeah.
has that gun on her, like I thought that was like they were both so good in that.
Mhm.
Like she was really good in that too because you could just totally feel like that tension and that fear
Yeah,
too. I like that. And also I liked when she left that note that was saying like I'm doing this work.
yeah.
Like I'm doing this, like I don't try to find me, like I have to do this for myself.
She's like, "Leon,
Kind
my love, don't try to find me." Like,
Mhm. I was like, "Oh." The plant is my favorite character. I love that damn plant. I think it's so cool that it goes everywhere, and I also love that axe at the end too, it's pretty dope.
it's really
I
cool.
never whoa, SWAT went super hard blasting a hole in that fucking building.
Oh my
They, like,
gosh.
shot that thing and it just blew, like, a hole in, like, the side of, like, the whole building.
I
It happened
know,
like,
and it's so
what the
again,
fuck?
it's like really well written because they could have gone too far with that, and then because you think, how is he gonna kill every single one of these men? There are too many of
Yeah.
them. So I think it was the perfect ending. He's just so smart and he figured a way of getting out, but
Mhm.
sadly, you know,
That's my third favorite scene. My last favorite scene is I love the camera work of Nat. Okay, so you're following Leon, but you're like third person. So you're seeing him like come down the stairs. And then when he sees the
yep.
doorway and sees this outside,
Mhm.
and then when you see Leon or Nat behind him, and then you see like the back of his head, and you're like, oh shit. But then it switches to like point of view,
Yeah.
and then you actually see the moment that like the bullet enters him and his vision
But
kind
there
of
isn't any
flares.
sound and there's music just playing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so crazy, and you see it like kind of flash, and then you see like the camera fall, and you're like, oh shit, we're him. Like we're him now, we're Leon, and then he like falls to the ground. I think that was
It
so
it
dope. Like
is.
that whole scene is my favorite
I
scene.
know.
Like just the way that it's shot, I think that is my
Yeah,
favorite.
that's what I'm saying about cinematography. Like that
Yeah,
scene
it's
is
great.
brilliant. Like I love that you don't need to hear the sound,
Mhm.
and then there's just music and it's very romantic and like emotional. And then the next scene is literally him saying, "Are you what's his name?"
Nat. Oh, Leon.
Leon is asking the other guy, "Are you whatever?" And he's like, "Yeah, at your service." And he's like, "This is from Mathilda."
Mhm.
I love that, and
And then
yeah.
it's like, boom, like huge fucking
And also,
explosion.
I really love the beginning actually, how you see New York and like
Mhm.
Central Park, and then he goes into like Little Venice, I suppose it is,
Yeah, Little Italy.
Little Italy. Sorry, well,
Little Venice.
that's in the UK. There's a place called Little Venice.
Oh, it's Little Venice. Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
nothing like that, but anyway. And then I think it's like a fish eye lens when they're entering the restaurant.
Yeah, I think
I love
so.
that. I love how it's kind of like camera. It's kind of like,
It goes, like, straight
how did
in.
they film that back
I don't
then?
know, I was gonna
Because
say,
now
I
you
wonder
have
how they do
drones,
that.
but back then you didn't.
No, they have, like, cranes and stuff.
Hmm.
Like the cameras are on those big cranes and they're like movable, but they have that now. I don't know what they did in
I
the 90s.
know, it's so cool.
They have tracks, like they build those tracks that they sit on and the chairs up there, and like you see them behind the scenes and sometimes it'll be high up and then it like seamlessly moves down and in. It's almost like a roller coaster.
Yeah,
But it's not a track, but they have a track that goes like from maybe the half of the street into the restaurant. But then they have to like shoot it again because you don't see that track in front of them.
I know they did. Yeah,
I
they
don't know
couldn't
how they
shoot
do
in
that.
one frame. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm sure like people, if anyone out there is a filmmaker and listening, and they're like, shit's so easy. This is
Yeah.
how you do it. But yeah, I don't know how. Okay, yeah, that's it. What are your favorite lines?
Okay, so
I just have
many.
one.
You pardon?
I just have one, so I want to
No.
hear your.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll do one and then you do yours because I have a few more. I
yeah.
I love when Mathilda says is I think her dad just slapped her and she's
Hmm.
outside and she says, is life always this hard or is it just when you're a kid? And Léon says, always like this. I like
Hmm.
that. You go now. You go.
My favorite one, and I think the title of the episode is just "No Women, No Kids."
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, there's so many. I love it when she says,
I couldn't write them all down fast. I was just watching it for the story, but
yeah,
you know it so much more than I do.
I know
So
it.
when
Yeah,
I
some
watch
of
it
them are
again, I'll hear
so
it.
iconic that you just like. It's so funny when she says to the guy at the receptionist in the hotel, "He's not my father. He's my lover."
I know it's really funny.
And
The
and then
guy's like,
I know, and then also when her whole family is just being murdered, and he's like, "So why are you crying then?" I know she's like, I'm sorry about your dad," and then she talks about him. Then no, she's not my mother, and then your sister. And she's like, she wanted to lose some weight. I'm sure she's never looked better now. Like now that she's dead, it's just like so funny.
God.
I think it's
And
fucking funny. I
then she's like, "No, I'm more mad about my brother.
Yeah,
Like, he didn't do anything to anyone."
I know. He just sat next to me watching TV and cuddle. Um, yeah, I really love when she says, there's just so many. Honestly, I don't know when. I think she says we had to work together. The best, so kind of like the best teams are, Bonnie and Clive, Thelma and Louise. Like, yeah, there's so many great lines. Honestly, just don't know. It will take a long time.
It is good for a partner, though. You do need a partner,
You do,
depending on what you're doing, I guess, but it helps out because you have, like, someone to watch your back,
yeah.
so which you don't always get. I'm still so shook that you've never seen or heard of Drop Dead Fred. I
I
just
don't
yeah.
think so. No, I mean maybe I've seen it, but the title doesn't. I'm really bad with names and like.
Yeah, yeah. When you Google it and you see the pictures, you'll definitely know if you've seen it or not. It's really ridiculous and silly. Like it's a kids-ish
That's
movie,
the thing. I don't like those ones.
but it's also not. Yeah, I just thought maybe like you knew that comedian.
Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I definitely have seen more movies like that in recent years because of Matthew. But
Yeah, I bet. Okay, how much you want to bet he knows it? When you ask him, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna wager that he has seen it once when he was young. I'll be surprised if he's seen it like
okay,
a bunch of
what is it
times if it's
again?
like one of
Okay,
his
tell me.
favorites because it's a random
What is it
film."
called?
Drop Dead Fred. Are you gonna text him?
No, I'm gonna look it up quickly just to see.
Oh, okay, yeah. See if you've
No,
seen it.
I definitely no. I've never seen.
Yeah, I was gonna say you would definitely know
No, I
that.
know him. Yeah, yeah. He is Mr. Bean.
No, he's not. That's
Oh,
Ronan
that
Atkinson
looks
or
like
whatever. This
him.
guy's Rick Mail. Yeah, no, it's not Mr.
It looks
Bean.
like Mr. Bean. Okay, no, it's not. No, I've never seen this movie. Never heard of it.
Wow.
No,
Okay.
no.
Well, let's hope people actually listen to the episode because we're all three of us are really excited to do it and it's coming soon. So even if not, we're just excited to talk about it. I haven't seen it in like years. I mean, I had it on VHS tape. I don't have it on DVD, so that will tell you like how much and it's never actually it was on Netflix not too long ago and I was like, "What?" But now it's not.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah, I also hope that in case I don't sound great in this podcast, it's because I'm using my old laptop. So
Yeah, we're having weird sound issues. I think you sound great, so
thank you.
if anyone has any issues, then I guess, like, let us know, but so far no one said anything,
Yeah.
so that's cool. Yeah, we're working through it, man. We're not ABC News. We're not some
No.
like giant operation. We're just doing this for, for shits and giggles,
Yeah, because
Something.
it is so much fun.
Yeah, it's super fun. I get to watch all these movies that I've seen, like this one. I'm glad I saw again because I'd seen so long ago that I was like, I don't remember
It's
everything
very
about
old new, yeah. I've seen this
it.
like honestly more than 15 times.
Yeah, that's crazy. This might be one of the only ones that you've seen like this
Oh
much.
yeah, I love
You know?
this film. I watched it a lot when I watched it really young anyways, and my dad had it. So we had
Oh,
it wasn't even DVD, it was like a VHS.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Cool.
and about probably 2009, 2008, when I lived on my own, I watched it a lot, like several times.
Oh,
And
cool.
I don't have many movies that I watched like a lot, you know?
Yeah, you're not a rewatcher.
No, not really. There are very few movies that I've seen. Like I've seen A Clockwork Orange like a lot, but those are like this one and are not my favorite films.
So in your top five?
This movie is in my top 10, and
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
this is my top 10 for sure. Yeah,
Cool. I definitely think the last one I did was Eternal Sunshine.
that's
Or
a
the
great
last one that I
film.
did, that one is I said in the episode, that one's in my
I
top 10.
literally wanted to
I don't
just
know
go
where.
in and be like, I've seen all the movies that you just mentioned, and I obviously have an opinion on
Oh, on Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank because you haven't
I don't
seen A
know.
Million Dollar Baby, so
No, yeah, I don't think I will.
well,
I think it's
but exactly. But I saw that I watched. Is it called Maria Full of Grace or whatever?
huh?
Yeah, and she was great, but Hilary Swank did play fucking amazing. Like,
Yeah, but
wow.
she already won for Boys Don't Cry. It
Yeah, but
wasn't
who
like
cares? I mean, it's not.
she's never won before. I'd rather give it to someone who's like completely unknown.
Yeah,
And
that's true, but that's
I
so
bet the
anti.
Academy
That's so
pushes hard.
anti-academy. They don't, they're weird.
Yeah, the Academy pushes hard for like certain people. Like it's already predetermined,
It is.
really.
Yeah,
Like it's not we think it's like, oh, these people voted, but it's very much like
no,
politics. Like they tell them kind of like who we're pushing. You could tell Brad Pitt was getting that supporting actor last year for Tarantino when granted he's a great actor, but like that
not in
in
that
no way
film. That is not.
symbolizes his
No,
best
exactly.
work.
No, it
Yeah,
wasn't
but
his best work.
tell the way they were pushing him, like he was everywhere all the time. It was like Brad Pitt. And I was like, he's not even in, I mean, he's in the movie more than the lead, but like this movie's good, but it's not like 12
I
Monkeys. Like
know
we're not
it's
Fight
not
Club
full time.
territory. Like, yeah, like this isn't like that. I mean, it's funny, it's cool, but like I get like same what they did with Leo when they gave it to him for the Revenant. It was like there were obviously like 6 or 7 other times
That he,
that they,
yeah,
yeah, that
but
he
at
could
least
have
that
got.
was a good film though. That I
Yeah, no, yeah, it was. Yeah, thankfully. Yeah, it wasn't just like here. Like my mom said I think they did the same thing with like Paul Newman. Like he should have won for like Cool Hand Luke or like like just like the Sting, like tons of things that he hadn't won yet. And then I think when he got older, they were like, yo, like, are you gonna give it to him? I think same with like a few other actors who are older and like they kind of get it like for a career Oscar. Like instead of
yeah,
like for that film,
exactly.
it's like,
It's
yeah,
almost
like
like
we're
it's their time. Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so oh my gosh, this has been great talking about this film. I'm excited to see what people think about it.
me too.
Um,
'Cause this is
let us
one of my
know.
faves, so I'm
Yeah,
excited to see
let us know.
if other people out there like it too.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what everybody thought. Who are your actors and actresses that you just don't like? I know you've got a list of people you're just not into, and doesn't matter the film. So I'm not the only one. So I'm curious to see other people's, and I'm curious for you have some too. Everyone does.
I do. I just don't think about them. They're not relevant. That you know what I mean? I focus more on the people I like.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I watch all the films of people that I
I can
like.
think. Yeah, I kind of think.
But I guess there's some that I need to open up to. But there's so many films that I like that I want to see more than things that I feel like I should see that I don't want to. So those will be like way in the like I might watch Million Dollar Baby, but it's not on my list because I have a lot of things I want to see before I want to see that.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
but it's something that I will watch. I'm sure if it's on or something, I'll watch it.
And
But I
there's
won't put out of
so many movies, though. It's impossible to see them
yeah, I was
all.
gonna say it's impossible to see everything. Yeah, it's so hard. And I'm a rewatcher. I rewatch things multiple, if not an insane amount of times. So that also impedes my process when I watch. When I don't just watch one movie one time and then move on. Like if I really like it, I'm watching it like 10 times, 15 times if I can. Because I want to know.
but not me. This is why I've seen a lot of movies, because I
Exactly.
once
That's
or
why.
twice. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to do the next one. We're gonna do Sid and Nancy.
Yay!
Wahoo. I think our little Courtney Love's in there, so it's our little grunge connection.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I haven't seen that in a really long time either, because it's like never anywhere. I mean, I think it's on like Amazon to rent or something like that. This is also on Amazon to rent or iTunes or I think Stars if you have
Ours,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. So so that's where you can see this now. It was on Netflix like last month. Like it literally was just
Oh
on there.
wow.
Yeah, so it is around if you can find it. It just pops up. But yay, this has been super fun. It's the end of another episode. Like and
And
subscribe.
subscribe.
5 stars, give us reviews, all that fun
Tell your
stuff.
friends about it if you like.
Tell your friends. Follow Fashion Grunge Pod at Instagram on Instagram and yeah, everything else will be in the notes. But have a good one and we'll see you on the next one.
See ya.
Bye.